Hello everyone and welcome on RD Dauphiné for our monthly show, Culture Broth. Today, a film, a book, a song, a painter presented by our experts. Sit back, relax and enjoy the show. Hello everyone and welcome into Riviera's Time. Today we are going to discover different types of art thanks to our four guests, Brian, Salia, Lena and Luan. And we will start with Salia, who is going to tackle the photograph graduation by De Kosova. What can you tell us about Salia?
Hello everyone, I'm going to talk about on De Kosova's graduation. This photograph shows us a girl going to her graduation party. In the photo, the girl looks worried because she is not focused on the camera and has turned her head to the observers. No matter how cold shades such as black were used in the photo, the light of the sun has brought the lady to the fore, but this does not mean that other items are not eye-catching. For instance, parts of paper used on the floor, a trolley, attract a lot of attention. On the other hand, the lady walking in the light is actually walking towards the darkness, even though she has been through a hard life.
Well, and what about your opinion?
In my opinion, this photo is interesting because we can learn lessons.
Now we are going to learn about another visual art with Lena. Lena, what can you tell us about your piece of art?
Hello. In 1983, the African-American painter Jacob Lawrence published his 60-panel named The Migration Series. He gained a national recognition with his work. During the last 5 decades, he has powerfully expressed the African-American experience. Since his art, he wanted to represent African-American migration of the South to the North. His word and image convey metaphors of injustice, change, hope, and beauty. He brought African-American experiences to life using a lot of black and brown colors. He uses a style that comes from the Harlem Renaissance, marked by a distinctive styles with abstract forms. However, we can find it expressive and powerful. In Jacob Lawrence's work, half of it is the situation in the South, like social or political struggles. Then, on the other half, he describes the life that migrants found in the North. The first and last painting is a train station. He might want it to represent a sort of evolution of the black community that have moved, but it is a cycle that don't break yet. In the intention to show that discrimination has not ended yet, even if they move to a place more open-minded.
And what do you think about the Migration series?
As far as I'm concerned, it is a great representation for those people to understand what and how black people had to live without any word, because sometimes struggle and fight don't need words to be seen.
Then another type of art with Luan, who is going to present us one of the most controversial songs, Mississippi Goddamn by Nina Simone. What about this song, Luan?
In 1964, Nina Simone released a song called Mississippi Goddamn. She performed several times on stage with her voice full of bitterness. She showed her own experience as an African American. She sings with all her rage, all her insecurity, and all her anger. That's what makes her song even more touching. In her song Mississippi Goddamn, she denounced a political concern thanks to the use of several elements. She used states known for its large number of lynchings, such as Mississippi, Alabama, or Tennessee. She also referred the term Sister Sadie, which referred to Mac twins, the adventure of Alec Berry Finn. It's about black women being called Sister Sadie or having to be expected to act a certain way in order to gain rights as black women.
And what do you think about this song?
I think Mississippi Goddamn has no pretension, not restriction. It's a song that evokes reality and the problem that are still not resolved.
To conclude this review, Brian will tell us about a recent movie entitled The Hate You Give. What can you tell us about this movie, Brian?
Well, police violence and social tension are the themes addressed in The Hate You Give. You know, these themes totally correspond to current events, and one cannot help but notice how history is repeating itself again and again. Angie Thomas began writing a novel in 2009 after the death of Oscar Grant, a black man killed during a police arrest, which obviously reminds us of the story of George Floyd, killed on May 25th, 2020, more than 10 years later. Published in 2017, The Hate You Give quickly became a global bestseller. So it was in 2018 that a film adaptation was offered to her by George Tillman Jr., choosing a very talented actress, Amanda Stenberg, for the leading role. The story features Star Carter, a 16-year-old African-American girl who grows up between two very different worlds. Stars come from a poor residential area punctuated by gang wars, but she attends a private high school for privileged and predominantly white students. The story quickly takes a dark turn when Star witnesses the death of her best friend, Khalil. The murder scene seems very familiar to us, and for good reason. It records the similar testimonies that make up the daily life of urban black communities in the United States. Then again, a white policeman stops a young black driver's car and kills him, feeling threatened, even though Khalil was unarmed and had not committed any offense. Star, who is the only witness to the murder, sees her two worlds go to the war, while she defends Khalil's memories in the face of the police who wants to cover up the case. To conclude, the author Angie Thomas has chosen to tackle serious issues by highlighting the flaws in the judicial systems, gangs, ordinary institutional racism, and police violence. However, beyond the importance of the themes, it is the character that gives the story its full meaning. We are more and more impressed by the heroine's unfailing courage despite her youth, and we are touched by the effort of her parents to protect her, because they are aware of the danger waiting on young black Americans.
Well, thank you everyone for sharing your artistical experience with us. It was very interesting, and we hope to see you soon.
Welcome to our program with our experts on cinema. Today we are devoting our show to African American artists, and especially movies. So to talk about them, we've got 4 experts around the table. First, let's talk about Selma with Naila.
Absolutely. The movie Selma, directed in 2014 by Ava DuVernay, is a film that shows the life of African-American person in 1965. In other, the Ensure the Right, the vote for African-American, Martin Luther King made a march from Selma to Montgomery. This film made me think a lot. I did not know that the life of African-American had been so difficult, how they had been treated, how brutal and violent the repression was, how they were treated as second-class citizens. You feel the rage and the desire to fight for their right, knowing that they could be injured or killed.
Thank you. So very strong movie indeed. Now let's talk about another striking movie, Boys in the Hood. And to do so, we are with Nelia and Liam.
Boys in the Hood is a movie. This movie came out in 1991. The director is John Singleton. Is a black person. This movie represents the African American person and her life. In this movie, the director wants to show the real life of the African American in America, and the movie was filmed in Los Angeles. This movie wants to denounce the life of black people and the violence of this life. In her country have gunshot, gunster, and a lot of violence. So the children live a constant with fear, and they were afraid of the death.
I would say that this movie is a particular case because I would say it is good. It was not to my liking because it's a very heavy movie and very moving. For example, some flaws of the movies, the acting, at some times you can see that it is a bit off. For example, at Vicky's death, where you see that the only characters that seem to speak in a proper way, the boy and his friends. But even with these flaws, the movie stays enjoyable watch. And even with the flaws of the movie stays very enjoyable if you like very rough conditions, portrayed very realistically.
Thank you very much. And now to finish, last but not least, let's listen to Smilla. And Smilla, you're talking about a less recent movie, right?
Yes. So, The Green Mile is the story of a commanding officer of the death row cell block at Cold Mountain Penitentiary. This movie takes place in 1935 during the Great Depression, and Paul Edgecombe, played by Tom Hanks, is at the end of the Block E, the corridor of death, the Green Mile. So, a new prisoner arrived at the block, John Coffey. Is played by Michael Clark Duncan. Coffey is accused to have raped and then murdered 2 little girls. But you see, John is acting more like a little kid than a heartless murderer. Paul and the other guards of the block begin to have a huge dilemma when they witness John accomplish healing miracle. Well, this movie was written and directed by Frank Darabont in 1989, and it is based on one of Stephen King's novels. This film is a masterpiece, you know. It was nominated for Academy Awards like Best Sound, Best Picture, even Best Supporting Actor for Michael Clark Duncan. In my opinion, The Green Mile is one of the most moving movies of all time. The music and the picture are amazing, and the director's work really paid tribute to King's novel. Even though there's a few details missing, it's still awesome. You have to watch it at least one time in your life. And you have to cry. Otherwise, you're just helpless, like a murderer. You see, the childish behavior brings it this film a firefly of naivety and a hit of magic. And it's beautiful.
Thank you very much. Nice movie night in perspective. Don't forget to bring the pizzas and the soda. Thank you very much. I'll talk to you very soon. Bye, guys. Thank you.
That was all very interesting. Thank you very much. See you on our next program. Bye now and take care.